Hi, welcome to Bonita's Kitchen and thank you for joining us. What I'm going to be making today is a delicious salmon loaf. I'm excited about today's recipe because we love salmon and any type of recipe for salmon. Of course, pan fried is one of our most favorite, but today we're doing a salmon loaf. If you are interested in this recipe today, so stick around and let's get started. What I got here is a nice chunk of salmon. I got the skin on, which I'm going to be taking off. Is boneless. There's no bone in there. If you don't have fresh salmon, no worries. You could use canned salmon. All you got to do is go to your grocery store and just pick yourself up maybe 2 cans of that to equal to 1 to 2 cups that you need for this recipe. So I'm just going to cut this in chunks, take the skin off. Now this piece of salmon I got here today was a frozen piece of salmon. I just thawed it partly so it's easier to cut. As you can see, slid right off that piece of skin on the back. So again, to take this silver skin off, you just put your fingers right there and slide your knife in through like this and it'll just come right off like that. That's all you need to do there. So this piece of Atlantic salmon that I got here today, it equals to about 1.5 to 2 cups of salmon. That should be a lot for this recipe, or enough I should say, unless you want to make more. Just making it a little smaller pieces. And now I'm going to tell you what's next. So after you cut it up in chunks, and remember, no bones. And even when you open up, if you want to use the canned salmon has got this little soft bone that's in the middle there. Take that out and make sure every piece is out, because this is a salmon loaf, and if you're serving it to anyone, you don't want for them to have a surprise bone. Raymond, can I pass you this leaf?
Not a problem.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
So now what I'll do is show you the other ingredients that's going to go into this delicious loaf. Thank you for that, Raymond. You know now you can never have too much help, right?
Exactly.
We're going to have 1 cup of stale breadcrumbs. Just toss it on in. So pretty much all we're doing now is just tossing in the ingredients to blend it together. We got 1 cup of mashed potatoes, and after they boiled, mash them up with a piece, probably a tablespoonful of butter. Toss that on in. I got 1 small onion here, and it was grated because I didn't want the chunks. I wanted to have that juice as well. Also, we got 1 celery stick cut into little small pieces. We got 1 stick of green onion, and I got it cut into small little pieces as well. Toss that in there, and 1/4 cup of evaporated oat milk, or you could use a regular milk. Toss that on in. I got a 1/2 teaspoonful of onion powder. I'm just going to keep 1/2 because I need it for a sauce we're going to be making. 1/2 teaspoonful of the white pepper and 1/2 teaspoonful of sea salt or regular table salt. I'm going to be putting in here as well 1 large egg, and I'm just going to put it into a separate bowl, whisk it together and toss it on in. So pretty much you're putting all your ingredients in first. If you're using the fresh salmon, make sure there's no bones, take the skin off. If you're using canned salmon, make sure you check that as well. Drain off the juice that's in the can, take the bone out, and then chop that up. So now let's mix this together. So what we're going to do now is just mix this together lightly, and then I'm going to mix it a little with my hand as well, because I want to put all of those ingredients together. And what we're going to do then is make a delicious dill sauce to go over our salmon loaf when it's baked. And you could probably mix all this together in your blender just to put all of the ingredients together. I got my bread loaf pan here, which is 9 by 5. You could use a 9 by 6, or even if it's a little bigger, that's fine. Put a piece of parchment paper in there so it's easy to lift out. And what I'm going to do now is work this together a little bit more with my clean hand, and then I'm going to put it into the loaf pan. After you've mixed all the ingredients together, just take it and put it on out into the loaf pan and just flatten it down like this. Now I'm going to wash up and tell you how long to bake it for. So all you need to do now, after you've put all of that mixture into your loaf pan, is preheat your oven to 350 degrees and put this in there, the center rack, for about 40 to 45 minutes until it's baked. So now what we're going to do while we're waiting for that, we're going to make our delicious creamy dill sauce. 2 chunks of butter. Just pop it on in there to about 2 tablespoonfuls or a little bit more. We're going to let that melt down there now, and then we're going to add in our onions. And if you don't have butter, you could use margarine as well. This is 1 small onion cut into little tiny, or diced into little tiny pieces. Now what we're going to do is let this fry until it starts to get a nice light color. I'm going to be using 1/2 teaspoonful of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoonful of white pepper, and 1/2 teaspoonful of sea salt. And I'm going to put this on in there now and let that start to cook in with our onions and the butter. When you see that the onions are starting to get a little clear, you're going to put in 1/2 teaspoonful of dill. We're going to let that cook around there, like that. And then we're going to put in 2 tablespoonfuls of all-purpose flour, or flour of choice, and let this start to cook in that butter and with the onions as well. Then you can put in 1 cup of vegetable broth or 1 cup of wine, whatever you'd like to make your sauce out of. Put that in there and let that start to cook. When you see that your sauce is starting to thicken like this, you're going to gradually pour in 1 cup of evaporated milk or milk of choice. And when your sauce starts to come to a little bit of a boil or a cooking, rapid cooking motion, you just add in then 1 tablespoonful of lemon juice, and then mix that through and put it down on simmer until your loaf is ready to serve. So pretty much that's all you need to do. Now what I'm going to do as well now is I'm going to have a little taste of my sauce. To me that's perfect. Perfect for us, I'm going to say. If you want to add anything else in there, some more of those seasonings, or a seasoning that you would like to pair with salmon, that's fine. But if you're just going to leave it the way I showed you, you will love it because it's just absolutely delicious. So meet me back here in a few minutes when our loaf comes out, and I'll show you what it looks like. Our salmon loaf. Our salmon loaf is baked. I'm going to pull it out of the oven now and show you what it looks like. Our salmon loaf smells and looks absolutely delicious. I'm going to take it out now and put it onto my platter and cut off a nice slice. That's what's so wonderful about having the parchment paper in the pan. You can pull it out easily and not have to worry about it. I'm going to slide it out onto this platter after. But what I'm going to do now is cut off a couple of pieces. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So pretty much after you've taken it out of your pan, slide it out onto the platter like this, and then you can just discard your parchment paper. Now this is what our loaf looks like. Now I'm going to cut off a couple of nice chunks here. Now this is a delicious soft loaf, so you don't need to be rough trying to cut it. Just slide your knife down like this, and this is it. Just look at the salmon in there. You can see all of the ingredients. It's cooked perfectly. I'm going to serve this over a bed of rice and topped with that delicious dill sauce. Oh my, this is absolutely delicious. Now just look at this. How delicious is that? Now I'm going to put some sauce over the top. So we're just going to drizzle just a little bit of this dill sauce. Of course, you can put as much as you like on there, but it's all about this salmon loaf, so I don't want to smother it with the dill sauce. That's all you need to do there. Now I'm going to show you what else I'm going to top it with. I'm going to top it with some crispy onions, and you get these in the store for your topping of your salads, and I'll share that with you. And a little bit of green onions, and this is it. A dinner for a feast for a family of 4. This meal is, and so delicious. We can't wait to get into it. Oh my goodie, I can't wait to have a little taste of this. And I was saying about just a little package of this crispy onions, and you get them in your grocery store. So now all I'm going to do is have a little taste here now with that dill sauce. Drop the fork, delicious. Raymond, you're gonna love this. Oh, so good.
You're making me hungry just looking.
The taste of that salmon, the taste of all of those ingredients blending together, just absolutely delicious. And with the dill sauce, wow. I can't wait for you guys to make this. So good. So if you guys are interested in this recipe today for salmon loaf, I'm going to share it under this video here on YouTube. You can also get that same recipe on our website www.bonitaskitchen.com, and as well on our Facebook page. And as well, if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell, and each time we post a new video, you will get a notification. I'd like to thank each and every one of you on behalf of me and Raymond here today for taking the time out of your busy day to join us. So from our kitchen to yours, stay safe and you have a wonderful day. Join us by the sea, a journey in culinary. And don't forget to join us again here on Bonita's Kitchen. Bonita's Kitchen to yours. Bonita's Kitchen. Yours.